Uncle Ron's stuff. This is cloning a hard drive, C drive, a system disk, and then putting it into another computer, entirely different manufacturer, and finding out that it does in fact work and it will um, uh, find the correct drivers and replace them or most of them. And I had a post about this earlier and said it did work to my amazement. And now I have to modify that. So anybody who watched the previous one about how you can clone a C drive out of a HP computer and then stick it over in a Dell computer and it will come up and run. And that's amazing and wonderful, except I found out they gotcha, is that at installation, there is what's called a system ID created at installation time. And that is used by various things to indicate a unique, it's different than a MAC address, it's different than a computer name, it's different a username, it's specific for that installation. When you clone it, you're taking over the system identification number that you had from your original computer. And it'll work fine, except when you try to go to share folders or files. That's what I ran into, and I didn't have any idea what was going on because I haven't done that much cloning. I don't live or work in a corporation where they will actually clone the same drive for 50 computers and put them in there. In that case, you can look into it. There's a special Windows command called sysprep that you need to do first before you do the cloning, and it will wipe out the SID number. And when you install that clone drive in a new computer, it will come up and you're doing like a new install, and it'll ask for whatever proceeds to install that it will create a new SID. The problem is that in my case, I had cloned the same PC C drive and used it on two other different manufacturer computers. And I said it does work. I didn't have any problem with it except trying to share folders. And no matter what I did, I could not get it to share folders. I created a new user account called Shared. I gave it a password. And I tried all the explorations of signing into it. It would find that shared folder and it would ask for the username and the password. And I would enter what I used, my username and password, and it would come up and say invalid password over and over again. And I tried all variations. In the end, what I did was I tracked it down to all three had the same SID. If you don't do any prep before you do the cloning, the three or however computers you're going to do are all going to have the same SID, which will work, except they try to share a folder. And then if you think about it, they all are seen from the network as being the same computer because they have the same SID on it. Now what Windows does to discriminate users on the same SID, it appends on a 4-digit number after the SID, and that is what's used to identify a computer on the network. For sharing purposes anyway. You go, well, what's Mac about then? That's something different. That's at a hardware level. This is up at Windows level where you're trying to share folders, and it looks at that SID, and it will not let you share a folder because it can't. It doesn't know how to do it between two computers on your local area network that have the same SID. No matter what you do in putting a new user account on that one of the computers or both, the prefix in front of it is the SID that you've cloned. Okay, so after, again, I have never been in an organization where I was responsible for cloning 50 or 100 hard drives, bringing a corporation up online with the same version of Windows, whatever. Okay, so I've learned a little bit about it. How do I fix it? Okay, and there are when I started doing research on it, and I look at the clone issue, it comes up. There is a problem with the cloned. Same C drive installed in other computers does work, except it doesn't. So how do you fix it? I looked around and there was no Microsoft tools. I tried SysPrep on an existing installation and it wouldn't do anything. You cannot, and then there was, you can go into the registry and go down to a certain place and wipe out the SID that's there, and I did that, made no difference. Okay. So my problem was I had 3 computers on the network that had the same SID, and the network didn't know how to handle that no matter what, if they had different users or not. Okay. So looking around, I did run across, there is a company, there is a group that offers what's called SID change, or SID CHG, SID CHG. If you look around, you'll find that there is an outfit that offers it, and they have a 30-day evaluation period where you can try it. And that's what I used. Otherwise, it's mainly meant for organizations like I was talking about, where you're cloning something and putting it on 50 machines, or like you're, a refurbisher, and you have an OEM license from Microsoft. So you can, in fact, clone a licensed OEM version. But if you do that, they all have the same SID, so you need some way to do it. Use SysPrep as one way, but if after the fact you've already put it out there, then there's this tool. And you, to use it, it's really simple. You have to download it, okay? It's not a virus. You have to download it. And then you got to turn off all the antivirus you have on your computer. That is the firewall, and all of the antivirus that you have on there, no matter who makes it. If you're using Windows, for your antivirus, you got to go in and turn everything off. It has to be completely, the antivirus and whatever you call it, has to be completely turned off. And then you run this command that you've downloaded from a command prompt as administrator. And it will, in the back, it doesn't take very long, it will run, and then it shuts your computer down. I think it does. When you start it back up again, you really won't notice any difference. But if you look at your SID, and let me give you that point too, how do you find out what your current system ID is? Okay, you can go to a command prompt. Hopefully you know what that is. You can go to a command prompt and you can type in all one word, who am I? WHOAMI space / user. Who am I? All one word, space / or back, whatever one works, I forget. User, USER. And you hit your return key and it will come up and tell you what it is. It'll say it's computer 3, and it may have, in my case, it has gateway listed. And then for the user, it shows you the SID and the username associated with that. But it does show you the SID. So if you have several computers and are having trouble, you did what I did, where you cloned the C drive and put it in other computers. If you check the SID on those three computers, you'll find out they're all the same, except perhaps the last 4-digit number that's stuck out there. And that may be a user unique number but the big long prefix number of I don't know how many digits, 9, 9, 18, probably 24 digits long. It will be the same. And that's what you have to change. So the only way to change that, that I know of, is use that SID tool that you can find with a quick search on the web. They'll let you download it. They do give you an activation code that's good for 30 days. You do have to copy that. You can't copy it and paste it. You have to copy it by hand and then enter it when they ask you at the command prompt. You have to enter that. If you still have antivirus running, it'll come up and say, nope, you got to shut down all your antivirus before it'll work. If antivirus is shut down, it'll come up and give you a big warning. This is dangerous. You should have an image backup. And if you don't, I did. If you don't, you probably should make one first. If you don't know how to make an image backup, you should check into it. Or you can clone the drive again to something else and save it. In my case, I did it on 3 computers and it has worked. I haven't found any problem switching user ID, the system ID on the 3 computers I originally cloned. They each now have a unique system ID, and I can easily, it's just like it's supposed to. I can share folders just like I knew I could have for years. Okay, that's enough of this one. This has to do where you've cloned a C drive from one computer and moved it over and installed it in another computer, or maybe multiple other computers. It appears to work, except at least one exception that I've found is you will not let you share folders over the network because they don't see it as multiple computers. They only see it as one, and they can't sort it out. The network logic in Windows cannot handle that. So each computer has to have its own unique SID number. The only way that I know to get that is to use that tool that I have referenced. Hopefully this helps. This is the 22nd of December 2025, and I've been hassling this particular problem for probably a month and looking at various aspects, including my network, my switches. I have a pretty hefty Ethernet network. Everything here is talking about Ethernet. It, in retrospect, it should have come clear. I also have wireless devices. I had no problem connecting wireless devices to the 3 computers that could not talk to each other via Ethernet or Wi-Fi. But from other computers with different SIDs, I had no problem connecting. And I should have realized then the problem was that the 3 computers that I was trying to connect wouldn't, because they all had the same SID. I hope this makes sense to you. You probably never run across this issue. Hopefully you don't, but I did, being stupid, again, not knowing all the ins and outs of cloning. And there's much, much, much more to it than simply making a clone and sticking in another computer. I mean, it did seem to be that simple, but it wasn't. That's it for today. Uncle Ron stuff. I hope this records, and we'll find out soon.